So, on Hermit26, I'm here to give you my response to Spinnernet1 on his video about independent wrestling fanboys and why he doesn't like independent wrestling. By the way, I'm going to send this as a video response, or all the parts of how many this is. I have no idea how this video is really going to go. Just Spinnernet, if there's someone who's subbed to both of us, can you send the video to Spinnernet just in case he doesn't accept the video response for whatever reason? I'm not saying he won't do it, I'm just saying just in case he forgets or something. Can you send him the video so he sees it? Because I feel that this isn't a video of bashing Spinnernet or bashing independent wrestling haters or anything like that. This is just me very much disagreeing with his opinion, and because I feel that a lot of what he said was bullshit. Honestly, I feel that a lot of what he said I wanted proof to, and he didn't give me the proof, and it just kind of came off really, really bad in my opinion. And I mean, maybe that's just me being a huge independent wrestling fan. I'm not a fanboy, because a fanboy, in my opinion, is someone who would go to the ends of the earth defending something blindly just because they're a fan of that. But when I come on here and said BDK Angle was overrated for some reasons, which is that you call her a big thing, when PWG does not have storylines and they need to, which I've said a couple of times, and it doesn't matter that, and it comes off, PWG comes off like a bad version of Ring of Honor sometimes because they don't do that. And Ring of Honor, even though that is probably my favorite wrestling promotion in the world right now, and it is probably the best independent wrestling promotion in the world right now, in my opinion, they've had shows like Gold Rush, which was hard to sit. It was so hard. It was one of the most boring Ring of Honor shows ever. And I was live for Civil Warfare, and I expect that to kind of be a boring show as well. So, you know, I'm not a fanboy of any promotion because I'm willing to criticize when I see something I don't like. Now, is there less with independent wrestling than there is with mainstream wrestling? Absolutely, right now there is. With how bad TNA is right now. I mean, TNA's best pay-per-view this year was Lockdown. And that left such a bad taste in my mouth because of the Lethal Lockdown match and just that whole thing. WWE has had a mediocre year at best. Their best pay-per-view this year, I was probably at live. If it wasn't WrestleMania 26, I was probably at Extreme Rules Live. So I am a big fan of mainstream wrestling as well. I like all types of wrestling. That's what my channel is. You know, I really, really like all types of wrestling. I want to share them with you. It's a lot harder to do videos on everything. But one thing Spinnernet did bring up is why most independent wrestling fanboys. I don't know. I have a feeling he really wasn't talking to me on this, but I'm a prime example of why. He said that most independent wrestling fanboys have videos that are mostly WWE and TNA. You look at my videos, I haven't done a video on TNA since my TNA rant when I called out TNA for all their bullshit and basically gave them my thoughts on that company, which I did like back in March. I've made a TNA video since then. WWE, the last one I made, I think was my Extreme Rules Live review. Honestly, I think that's probably my last one. That was like back in late April. So, I don't understand your point on that. Yes, I do talk about them a lot in the Q&As because people send me questions on them because I don't talk about them all that much. Because I feel that independent wrestling deserves more of my attention because it's better. And for the reason that I talk a lot about Ring of Honor, most of my subscribers are Ring of Honor subscribers or independent wrestling and Japanese subscribers. I do have some WWE and TNA ones as well. I know I have a lot actually of those for the fact because they want to learn what I have to say. Now, if I'm coming off cocky here, sorry about that. It's because I just feel that a lot of what he said just pissed me off, honestly, because if I had one word to describe Spinnernet's video, it would be proof. I mean, he said a lot of things and then kind of changed the subject and really didn't give a ton of proof for it. Yes, in some things he gave proof, but that proof kind of was for himself and vague. I'm just wondering why if he had wanted to do this for years, why did it take him this long to do the video? Honestly, I don't see that. And by the way, one common misconception of independent wrestling is that it's so hard to follow. Okay, that is probably one of the things that pisses me off the most, honestly, is because, there are poor wrestling fans out there. I get that. And I actually agree with, one thing I did agree with Spinnernet when he said there are poor wrestling fans out there. I actually really agree with him on that point. But just like there are streams, there is something called XWT and torrents. For independent wrestling fans, it's a little harder to find, but if you're a true wrestling fan, and you really want to follow something, you can find XWT. There are other torrent sites like Over the Top Rope Torrents that you can find that have those shows you can download to your computer for free. You know, there are ways around that. Like Yes, independent wrestling promotions really do need your money, but if you're poor and you really can't do it, but you want to follow the promotion, there's torrents. I don't recommend them because they are illegal in some sense, but still in the same hat, I mean, if that's the last resort, you kind of have to do it, just like streams are for WWE and TNA and UFC pay-per-views. And they try and shut them down, but somehow there's always seem to popping up. Those always seem to pop up. Okay, and one thing is that also we never tell you how to find to watch independent wrestling promotions. Okay, the easiest way, if you're watching this video, it's so easy. Click the link in the description box. That is ROH Brazil. He is the guy that uploads ROH Nation to YouTube. If you can watch this video and you're watching me rant right now, you can watch him, that video just as easily. And he cuts out all of the HDNet advertising, so it's only like 45 minutes or 50 minutes for each episode. And you honestly get, and in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinions, you get more great wrestling on TV in one episode of ROH Nation than you get like a month for Raw. Or Impact, for that, probably 2 months of Impact for that matter. Because just how bad, I read some of those spoilers, that was so bad for the last tapings. Okay. Next, independent wrestling fanboys get a free pass. The only reason, that's a two-way street. WWE and TNA get a lot more attention on here. I agree with that. For the reason that there's a lot more fans on them. But for that reason, they're going to get a lot more criticism because there's a lot more discussion going on for WWE and TNA. So that's why it might seem like independent wrestling fanboys get a free pass. So that might be why that is. But they definitely don't get a free pass because when I came on here and said it, my thoughts on the BDK angle for Chikara in my Q&A video last time, good friends of mine, Big Rat, called me on Skype that night and said, "What are you talking about?" Jake, Double Cross King, came on here and basically, he makes 30 seconds videos, and basically the last 5 seconds of the video is him going like, "Eric, what the hell are you doing?" There was other people that were like, okay, they didn't understand my points on that, and that's why I probably have to do a future video on the BDK angle, really explaining myself. But that led to Sanders Robin making a video, Big Rat making a video himself. So, we don't get a free pass on here. And, it's sickening to me to think that independent wrestling fanboys, because there are those out there, and there are a lot of them on my video. Like when I came on here and I believe it was my Big Bang review, which is ROH's second live pay-per-view. There were people who thought I underrated the pay-per-view, and I gave it a 9 out of 10. People that underrated, like, what are you talking about? You have no idea what you're talking about. I got messages like that all the time when I reviewed Ring of Honor shows. I gave a show called Violent Tendencies like a 7.75, and people thought it was like a 9, and they like called me out on it. Same with PWG shows. Same with Chikara shows. Japanese wrestling. Same thing. We don't get free passes on here. There are a lot less of us, so it might seem like that, but we definitely don't get free passes. That's a moot point. I mean, for a free pass, really? And if there's one person that disagrees with you, you don't get a free pass. And I've never seen anybody be 100% agreed with. I mean, if you look at this video, you're probably going to see some dislikes because they don't agree with what I'm saying. But I see some likes as well because they agree with what I'm saying, and they're going to, and they don't have to argue with me on anything. Okay, the price of WWE pay-per-views is, whatchamacallit, for every single one outside of, I think, WrestleMania and Royal Rumble, and a couple of them, like the big ones, it's $49.95 with the service I have, Verizon Fios. Plus some convenience charges and stuff like that. It's going to be around anywhere from it's going to be like $58. For that price, you can get at sometimes 5 Ring of Honor DVDs. Plus shipping and handling, it's going to be about $68. But okay, so 4. You can definitely get 4. And sorry about that. Just hurt my thumb. So if you're you can pick up the 4 best Ring of Honor shows this year for the same price you can order Fatal 4-Way. You pick up a Better Friends, Stiffer Enemies 2, Supercard of Honor 4 when Death 4 Dishonor comes out, and then you can get From the Ashes as well. So you get, that's pretty much 12 hours of wrestling, amazing wrestling compared to 2.5 hours of okay wrestling. Which one would you rather get? Honestly, it's a lot. Sometimes it's harder to find independent wrestling, but you can find it. Alright, part 2 is coming. See you guys then.